Next question. This one can have a tie-in to either our last teleconference or the one before it. This one is in the arena of sexuality once again. Why is homophobia so prolific? Has it always been so prolific? What are the different reasons people are gay, straight, bi, sexual, and transsexual? Let me do the first parts of them first, because then it goes on to 3-4 more questions. Why is it so prolific? And has it always been so prolific? Homophobia, fear of homosexuals. Fear and in its many expressions. Repulsion, avoidance, condemnation thereof, abuse of terrorizing them. Why is it so prolific? Because fear is so prolific on the planet. And even more so, and more specifically, because of how deeply repressed people's own feelings towards and about themselves are, and how judgmental they are about that, and how fearful they are of loving themselves fully, of being truthful to and about themselves, expressing the truth of themselves, not just sexually and in their gender preference, but in all areas of their lives. So, there's an old expression, thou protestest too loudly. In almost all cases, ones who are homophobic have latent homosexual tendencies and or desires within themselves. There is very rarely a case when that is not so. So when you see the big loud mouth, pointing the finger and swearing and cursing at gays and lesbians, telling them they're going to rot in hell or whatever, you can pretty much see a very deranged person and someone who has tremendous emotional damage and scarring from that one's own childhood, and most likely a fairly high degree, if not fully, repressed homosexual tendencies and or desires and or preferences. Has it always been so prolific? Yes, it's just now more expressed. We have more people, more media, more anger, more fear, so the voice is louder. But it's always been there. Wherever there is fear and there is repression of one's truth, you'll find that. What are the different reasons people are gay, straight, bi, and transsexual? The same reasons people are lawyers and doctors, painters and artists, the same reasons people are tall, short, fat, skinny, light and dark, old and young, healthy and unhealthy. Your soul, in concert with your master teachers and the lords of karma, prior to embodying in any given incarnation, design the full course of your life. All your circumstances, all your lessons, all your lovers, your family, your friends, your jobs. You create all of that based on what you need to learn and to grow to become more and more divine, to restore more and more your divine origin and nature, inheritance and legacy. And as I said in prior questions on prior conference calls, none of it means anything at the level of the absolute. God sees it all, allows it all, loves it all, and has no issue with it. So, neither should you. Just love and bless everyone and everything all the time, and just accept it. It's everything that you choose in life, consciously and unconsciously, and everything that happens to you in life happens solely for the purpose of your God realization. Wanted, chosen, and created exclusively by you. Therefore, it would be yet again another act of insanity to judge, repress, repulse, reject, avoid, deny any of those said choices or circumstances. And I include unconscious because that's still your creation. We are responsible. We create on 3 levels, the superconscious, and exist on 3 levels. The superconscious, the conscious, and the subconscious. We're responsible for all 3, whether or not we're aware of them, we believe them, or we like them. The point is, it's our responsibility to become aware of them. That's part of the journey to God, to full God merging, to full God union. So, as the song says, wake up, little Susie, wake up. Time to wake up. Alrighty. Would society understanding the reasons behind sexual orientation help decrease fear and prejudice? Yes and no. What helps decrease fear and prejudice is people decreasing their own. Moving through their own fears and learning to love themselves. We talk about society like it's a person. There is no society. There's just you. You're the only person on the planet. So face your own fears, heal them, transcend your own limitations. Society is made up of 7 billion of you. So let's not project, looking at society. When is society going to fix the Amazon? When is society going to go solar? When is society going to, combat global warming? There's no such thing as society. It's not a person. It's not a place. It's nothing. It's a collective. And that collective is made up of you. So you have to adopt the mantra, the mission statement. It's all up to me. Make it all up to you. Don't let society pick up the trash. You pick it up. Don't wait for society to go solar. You put the panel on your roof. Don't wait for society to get into health food. You get into health food and clean your body. Alrighty? And that will decrease fear and prejudice when you decrease your own. There are still so many people, young and old alike, who are afraid to disclose their true sexual orientation to family and or friends for fear of rejection. Well, do I know this? Like you could never imagine. It's very sad, and hopefully by some way, large or small, after having spoken this, maybe that'll be a little bit less after today. And when you become more open about who you are, not just sexually, but in all ways, to thine own self be true. You become true to yourself and about yourself and with others about yourself. That will all decrease, and then people can express themselves in many ways. Perhaps that's one of the most, if not the most, severe circumstance of prejudice in the world, and it is, followed not too far behind by racial prejudice, but followed not too far behind by religious prejudice, but sexual prejudice particularly toward homosexuals, is the greatest form and most ugliest and most severe form of prejudice in the world today. But there are others. There's prejudice against artists. There's prejudice against, women occupying jobs that the patriarchal world says belong to men. I mean, it could go on and on and on. So it's really about being true to yourself. You be the example. You be the miracle. You set the example. And walk tall and proud, and you don't have to be flag waving and proselytizing in people's faces. Just love thyself, know thyself, and express thyself. This very topic cost me my son, whose life was cut short because of this very subject. So I know it only too well. And I had to walk the same walk in my teens and early 20s until I had enough teachers and enough good examples to show me, the value and the merit and the freedom and the empowerment of being true to yourself. I had that in my career. I had that in my spiritual awakening. I had that in my sexuality. I had that in where I chose to live. I had that in who I chose to marry. I mean, I had it across the board. And each and every time, it took me till my early to mid-20s till I found that strength within and that trust and faith. And that detachment from what other people think, But once that happened, my God, the path just took off it was like grabbing the tail of a comet. So I highly recommend that. And again, be mindful of the unconscious need or knee-jerk reflexive response and unconscious choice to be flag waving and thumping and preaching and proselytizing. That's where the pendulum will first swing when you awaken to that need and that truth and you start to take those first steps. So, a pendulum that's locked over here at 3 o'clock when released is going to swing to 9 o'clock. It's just nature. So when it goes there, it's important. Don't judge yourself either. Just forgive and accept, and the pendulum will find its way to that balance. of natural expression. The very first thing anyone wants to do and chooses to do and does with great relish and wanton, reckless abandon in the throes of any type of awakening, be it sexual, spiritual, vocational, whatever, is a dive into preaching and proselytizing and thumping and banner waving. So it's just part of life. Just deal with it, be mindful of it, watch it, and work it, help it work its way down.